Fingers sweep across her cheek, a red hue bursting from the inside out. Amour's cold touch, cold heart, igniting the flame of imperfection, insecurity, inside her delicate, malleable heart. She thought she was good enough. How could she not live to please him? A devoted scientist, a seeker of nature, a perfectly imperfect face, and a fitting elixir. Finally, she lay, untouched by a red stain, but stained again in blood and death. A woman cannot live without imperfection. This poem is it's a poem about the romantic narrative called The Birthmark by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And it's a narrative, The Birthmark is a narrative about a couple named Georgiana and Aylmer who are newly married. And Georgiana was born with a birthmark on her left cheek in the shape of a small hand. She always thought of it as beautiful, as many suitors admired her for it, and they would even die to marry her. But women, on the other hand, out of jealousy and disdain, were not so fond of it, but nevertheless, she always thought of it as a charm because that's how most people saw it. But when she married Aylmer, an 18th century scientist who was completely and utterly devoted to his work, things started to change. He always had a fascination with nature and wanted to kind of change its path. One day he had a dream about her where he wanted to remove her birthmark, and he did so, but it was connected to her heart. He told her about this, and she became really distraught. And he becomes obsessed with the birthmark and trying to remove it, and creates a sort of symbolism behind it. He thinks of it as a sign of mortality and imperfection, and cannot love Georgiana unless it's removed. So in an attempt to make her husband fall in love with her again, Georgiana agrees to undergo a procedure to remove it. When the plan goes through, she ends up dead. This story emphasizes the foolish and unachievable strive for perfection. This indeed is a destructive path and never ends well. Aylmer's desire to make his wife perfect is already doomed the minute he sought it out. Hawthorne is trying to emphasize the fact that perfection cannot be found on earth. The story also reveals the theme of controlling nature and the doomed state behind that concept as well. Humans cannot control the path of nature, and doing so ends in destruction. This theme overlaps with other classic works from the Romanticism period, such as Frankenstein. In both stories, Victor and Aylmer attempt to control nature. Aylmer tries to remove the mark that Georgiana was born with, and Victor tries to imitate and create human birth from inanimate objects. Both of these acts end in death and overall unhappiness. Thank you.